Okay, what the topic is, how does your mind play tricks on you? You don't know how your mind alters the truth and virtue until you truly behold the truth. You are at a new beginning in recognizing the truth from falsities. You have been given the ability to hear truth, and you will soon recognize truth from falsity. Okay, so this is going to go a little bit different than planned. I'll tell you already. What I'm hearing is that everybody here has done a lot of work on themselves, and everybody here is pretty far along on their path. So we're kind of changing the principle of what this class would normally be, because we feel like it's important for you to alter your being at this point. As we make the changes and the shifts that are within you, you'll recognize that the truth will be revealed. As we said to you in the simplicity of truth and falseness, this isn't as simple as it sounds. However, because you are all aware of who you want to become and where you have come from, you recognize that you are ready and you have the ability to move forward into the future. And we are choosing to do so for you today. Are you guys cool with that? Everybody good with that? Okay. Okay. All right, what's next? Now what are we going to do? What we're going to do is to recognize that this is a different energy than what you have all become accustomed to. And what we're going to ask you to do is to sit firmly in your chair at this point. Your feet on the ground, both feet solid on the ground. And as you do this, sit simply in your chair and listen to the words that we speak. What we would like for you to do is find your heart space, the space that resides in the center of your chest. And as you do so, recognize that there is a heart in this area. The heart helps you to breathe, to function. It pumps life into your being. And as it pumps life into your being, it creates the spiritual connection to all that is. As it has been mentioned before, the spirit lies within the heart, and the heart lies within the spirit. The spirit is the connection to God. And this is me saying spirit and soul are the same thing. They're used interchangeably. And as they're laughing and saying, you had to make that correction, didn't you? That's my mind getting into this. What we want you to feel and to recognize is that this is all one. The heart is one with the soul or the spirit, whichever you choose to use. But as you sit and you function, as you feel your heartbeat and your blood pulse, you'll recognize that there is something else that is creeping in that you may not have noticed before. And what this is the light of God. It is the creation of all that is. You might feel a slight flutter, a flickering. You might see lights. You might simply feel a subtle change. And this is what we want for you. And as we do this work, and we affect all that is, we allow you to be in our presence, the presence of God, and the highest dimensional realm that has been created for you to experience. This is it. If you will sit still and quietly, we will lay upon you the energy and the atmosphere that'll work slowly through your body in order to create the change that we are asking for. This will take a moment, so as you sit, have peace and allow us to do our work. As you sit and you recognize that there is a spirit around you that is unlike all others, you begin to feel that it is being absorbed into your system. As it is being absorbed, you're recognizing that there is a change within your being. It is altering the chemical makeup of what you're composed of. And what we're giving to you is the ability to turn into crystal. We're giving you the ability to lessen the human words and listen with a crystal filter. And this is what we want you to hear. We want you to hear the truth of what truly is. So that when you hear the words that others speak, they speak only the truth to you. As words may be coming out of their mouth that may not be the truth in God's words, you will hear the truth that is within you. And this is what we want you to recognize. As we give you the ability to hear with the ears of the Creator will speak the truth to you. As we've opened your heart and we've allowed it to beat again, to breathe, to inhale and exhale, you feel the tightness relieve as you begin to feel a relaxation come through your chest. This is the part of life that is true, the pure essence of the heart and the words that God speaks, as He speaks only truth. And this is the gift that you have been given today. To hear with the ears of an angel, and to live the life of the ultimate being. This is for you, and this is the gift that we have given. As you allow your body to breathe, bring your focus back to your heart. Slowly open your eyes and become present within the space. How's everybody doing? Can you feel your feet on the floor? Wiggle your toes. The ground is there, right? Okay, so what I'm seeing, so again, the topic of this class is hearing truth and not falsities. And what I'm hearing is that what I'm hearing, yes I am, What I'm seeing is that everybody has a crystal in their ear.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
I feel some pressure.
You feel something there?
Something, I'm like, what's going on?
Does anybody else feel any ear pressure?
No.
Cool.
Okay. Mine
Does
is.
everybody? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome is that. A crystal is a conduit of truth, and a crystal filters. It filters out the purities. And so I'm going to start crying. You guys got the greatest gift ever. When we become crystalline beings, what the first gift is to become at that stage, is to simply be able to have that crystal influence, is to have that place in your ear that filters what the truth is. You'll no longer hear falsities. You'll hear the words spoken to others, but you'll notice that it won't stick. It'll keep going through. But if somebody says something to you and it may not be the truth, you'll be able to interpret it into the truth, what the truth actually is, what God's intention really is. Those crystals in your ears are the filter. It's the filter of God. It is creating you, it's creating the gift to you to have the ability to be that crystalline being. And have you guys, does anybody not know what I'm talking about as far as a crystalline person, crystalline being, a light being?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, a light being. Okay, a light being, a crystalline person is a step above a light being. A light being is what is basically a person that has been filled with the light of God and radiates that truth. When you become the person that is lined with crystals, you become that next step up that is the conduit to all truth, which means more information will be coming to you and more truth will be revealed to you. And you'll become that. You get, and when I'm Tara said, Google it. Mine and Joyce's favorite thing. Google it. Google it.
Crystalline and plasma light bodies.
Yeah, crystalline light
That's where we're
bodies.
headed.
Yeah. I just have to say that this is a great gift. I actually received the crystal in my ear, which seems to be more of the left ear for me, about 2 weeks ago. That's when I started feeling it. And then ever since then, I'm starting feeling more crystals growing and emerging within my mind in different places. And it's a great gift. And you guys have been honored enough. Thank you for coming tonight so that you could do it. And obviously the people that are here for a very specific reason, because they chose to do it because they knew that all of you guys could accept it and understand it, which is a huge deal. So thank you all for making it here and for being here.
So we can't help but respond with the truth then?
You'll just know it.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to respond at all.
Oh, okay.
And the more that you get your head out of it and don't think about it, you'll know exactly what to do. And a lot of times people just have to talk and you just shake your head. Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. And then you pat them on the back and you turn around and you walk away. Because what we know is the truth may not be the same thing that somebody else knows is the truth. You understand that? That somebody may be speaking to you and just wholeheartedly, fully believe what they're saying to you from the core of their being.
Right.
And you can't change that. You can't change their thoughts. You can't change their mind. So you just simply listen or walk away or do whatever you want to do. But what I'm hearing is whatever they're preaching, you're not buying.
Oh, gotcha.
Does that resonate with you? Okay, well, I guess that's the reason why I said it, because I don't say that. Yeah, so you'll know what the difference is, and you'll know and there'll be something that is an indicator within your heart, your chest space. There'll be something that's going to give you a notion that you feel like, I don't need to stand here and have this conversation. I don't need to carry on the conversation. I don't need to argue with them. I don't need to go back and forth. You'll just know, okay, it's time for me just to be, and just be who you are. And that's all you have to do. Okay, they're saying, does anybody have any questions?
Would this be a good time, like, to work with crystals if we already do, maybe? would
It's
that
not
help
necessary, it
enhance
doesn't
or-
have anything to do with it.
Okay.
And it's a misconception. Crystals themselves are a conduit as well. And they have different vibrations that affect different things. These are specific. These crystals are created within your own being. It's made out of your own plasma that lies within your body, and all of the earthly characteristics that you associate with are no longer valid for what this type of crystal is. It's not the same. Something that's different. It's of a super high frequency. Super high. That's a technical word. Super high. super high frequency. It's vibrating at a rate and a magnitude that is beyond measure upon the human realm. And so, as you speak of what they won't even affect it, because it's vibrating at such a higher rate than what anything can on the earth. Okay.
So being that in us, we're helpful, just our beingness being there is helpful?
It is, good question. It is because what has happened is that your frequency has increased. The vibrational frequency within your being has increased with the gift that has been given to you. And so as your presence is just felt just by the vibration and the frequency that you give out around you, they're laughing and saying, because some of us, including myself, probably I can talk from myself, I won't talk about any of y'all, but I can speak from my own experience. I know that my mind hasn't kept up with what's going on inside me on this plane. And my little head can still speak on the 3D level of, why hasn't this guy called me back yet? My client. I've been calling him all day and he won't return my call. That's not where I'm supposed to be. So with this being said, this is a shift and a change that we all have to become accustomed to. And it has to be a slow process because you can't change like that. And so as you recognize and as you understand that there is that shifting and growing that's within your being, be patient with yourself. Recognize that it's there. Don't ignore it. But recognize that you are also still on the 3D plane level, and there's still ego involved, and there's still some human characteristics that haven't completely disappeared yet. So why it's important for you to focus on who you are is opening up this heart space and allowing the light to come in and focus on your soul and what the purpose of your soul is truly here for, which is love. And once you recognize that the sole purpose within each being is love, you'll begin to recognize that your body will start shifting and changing, and there's going to be more energy and transitions that will take place. But just recognize that this is going to take time. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight, because we can't handle that. Which that makes sense.
Will it also be involved in healing us?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Last minute.
You said something a bit back about increased knowings. Did I misinterpret that?
I don't remember what I said. So
More information comes.
So because of the crystals that you'll be getting more information, yes. Yeah, that will happen. What we're saying to you is that because the vibration that the crystals create within the space, that your hearing is going to become more in tune with the words that are being said to you, with the truth that's being spoken to you from up there. That intuitiveness, that guidance will be more easily heard than what it's been in the past, because of the vibrational rate that it's resonating at the same, they're saying the same octave. I don't know anything about music, but, okay, do you recognize that word? Okay, then that's the reason why I said it. 'Cause, yeah, I know it's a music word, but I don't know what it means. Okay, yeah, so there you go. You're welcome. Okay, so are there any other questions?
I'm assuming I'm not the only one that felt the temperature. As soon as you started talking about the crystalline energy, I calibrated, went up to like 140 degrees inside myself. Did anybody else get that? Did anybody else break a sweat?
No,
No?
but I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, it's the energy coming in.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
figured.
Yeah, and that's what happened to you, is that
Mhm.
energy shifted in you. You might even feel a little bit dizzy, lightheaded, and yeah, it's because the vibrational shift is changing. You might sleep really well tonight, or you might sleep really bad.
I affirm the first one.
So the energy that you're feeling is shifting and changing the vibrational rate of your being. And so either you will need to process the information, and so you'll sleep well as everything processes, or else it's going to keep you up tonight and it's going to do the exact opposite effect. So either way, I'm right.
Works out well.
Well, I can't be wrong.
You don't want to be in politics.
Yeah, I like that answer too. Oh, JP, I'm sorry.
I'm further explaining what you're saying in her question about feeling the heat. Because nobody else feels as much heat doesn't make it any different. Everybody's going to have a different effect.
Right.
Whether we're noticing light differently or we're hearing differently.
Yeah.
You may feel heat, somebody may feel pressure, lighter or heavier. Makes sense? You probably already thought about that, right?
Yeah.
I just wondered if anybody else had that, because I literally physically broke a sweat.
Yeah, and everything will change.
Yeah.
And everybody receives different, the energy on a different level. I'm a little bit more used to the higher vibration because of the work that I do, so it doesn't affect me quite the same. But I do have hot flashes, and I can tell, when I start getting energy in, I break out in a sweat, and I know what the difference is between
Right.
menopause.
Right.
Because I'm that
And
age
spirit,
too.
right.
But I can tell what the difference is between the energetic sweat like that, or something else that's like a physical condition, a health condition. There is a difference. But there is also, just like I said, your body might feel different. It might feel lighter. It might feel heavier. You might vibrate a little bit. There may be some different changes that occur all within. But I'm glad that you felt something. Did anybody else feel any
140.
shifts?
How did you know that? How did you know that?
I just calibrated it, that's what it was.
Just one thing I felt was just like the tingling when you were up here, you were doing that. I didn't feel I didn't get that sensation in the ears, but I did have the feeling when you were up here, like doing something going in. And then while we were with my eyes closed, some pulling, like, I don't know I was trying to go to, but it was like some sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, they were removing some things from you that you no longer needed. Perfect. Okay, and so that feeling that you were feeling from your head was opening up the channel for you. So what's happening, and everybody got the same thing. I worked on everybody's, and it wasn't it's not your head, but it was the connection that was coming down, and it was clearing that connection so that the energy could come down into you. They did the rest. I didn't know what I was doing. I got a clue. I just did what they said. And then what they did, they took care of whatever else you needed. There was a lot of heart clearing. If you didn't notice, I did a lot of make your heart beat. I did this direction, like front and back, that is trying to open that up and get your heart pumping. Because there were a lot of closed hearts, apparently. So, which was all, Okay, so what you want to say is, that what you were doing was you were opening up the channel of communication so that we could do the work that was needed, and that's what was happening.
Is there any way that it might be more grounding in some way? Because I'm kind of a space cadet. And so might it be more grounding with this other energy again?
As long as you keep your feet on the ground, you will always be grounded. Now, part of it is your personality, and it's a beautiful personality. We love you, Stevie. We love you just the way you are, and it is who you are.
Yeah.
But what you need to recognize is that you do need to keep your feet firmly on the ground.
Okay.
Stay grounded. Don't try to travel out.
Okay.
If you start traveling out because of you and your body makeup,
Mhm.
their chemical makeup,
Mhm.
you know, how your body is,
Mhm.
you have a hard time getting back in. And so sometimes you stay out there.
Yeah.
You have gotten back in, you know how to do it, but sometimes it's more of a struggle. It's harder for you than it is for other people.
Yes.
So, do you recognize that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what would be very beneficial for you is to recognize that when you leave your body, it's almost like you have to, what I'm seeing is like you have to break rocks to get back in. Like I see like with a chisel, and like it's a cliff, and you're just having to chisel and try to break that open so you can get back in your body. And so what we suggest for you is to be real careful about doing any type of exercise or anything that's going to deliberately take you out of your being. What we want you to do is stay within your own body. And I'm seeing keep your hands grounded, like, you know, when you're sitting down, feel the energy and basically roots. Okay, so you got tree roots, you got roots on your feet, and you got roots on your hand, and drag them, make them visualize that your energy is going down from the top of your head down through your body and through your arms, and those tree roots are going down into the ground, and try to focus on that to keep you grounded and solid. Okay. Now, what they're saying is that it may not get you back to the way that you feel like you need to be, because the way that you feel like you need to be is not the truth. It's not the truth of who you truly are. You recognize that you want to be like somebody else. Okay, now this is for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to hear this. Thank you. Okay, so what you are experiencing is that you have childhood memories of being told how you should act or how you should behave. And so what you have done is that you've conditioned your mind and your body that you are to be a certain way. But that's not the truth. It's not who you are. It's not Stevie.
Yeah.
And so what you have to recognize is that you can let go of all of that. And that's part of what this heart space, that the exercise is with the heart that they're giving you, is feel your heart beating again. Find the truth. Find out who you all are. Everybody is. And then when you find out who that soul is, which is pure love, that soul loves you exactly the way you are in your purest form. And that's what you're going back to. We're taking you back to that point to recognize that you are that pure light. You're that being. And what other people say or recognize that may be a fault to them, which they use the word fault specifically because it's a falsity that you have chosen to believe. And we're no longer going to believe those falsities, because now you're only going to hear the truth. And you're going to hear the truth that you are love, and that you're a beautiful human being, and that all that matters is you and what God's given you. And it's the gift of light. Okay? And that's for everybody. And it is the message. It's a message for everyone. But you're here for a very specific reason, so that you could hear that message and you could share that, because you brought it up into where somebody else may not see themselves exactly the way that you do. Because I think you're a little bit hard. This is me. I think you're a little bit hard on yourself, in my opinion. And so it's very relevant for you to be here tonight and to be able to share that, because we all do that. We all have that. Everybody has been criticized at some point or another in their life and felt like, I mean, I can say for myself, my mother used to always say, ladies, don't act like that. You know, you're not supposed to act like that. Why don't you wear dresses? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And so it's created my beliefs because of that. And those are false. They're false beliefs. It's not the truth. Because a lady can act any way she wants. I don't care what she does. You know, a lady is a lady. There you go. But what happens is that because you carry this false belief within you for your entire life, you never feel like you're good enough. You never feel like you've done enough. You continually feel like you did something wrong, or that you have to change to satisfy somebody else. And it may not just be one person. It's not just my mother. I mean, there's numerous. The little boys on the playground telling me I'm ugly. You know, I mean, you know, it goes through all of these different scenarios that go throughout your lifetime. And what we are here to do is to guide you through these paths so that you no longer hold on to them as you feel they are the truth. this is what has been given to you, to recognize what is false and what is true. And you'll begin to recognize that the beliefs that within you will begin to change, and you'll begin to recognize that you are the truth. And that your connection with Spirit, with God, all the Creator, is resonating within your being. As you become more familiar with your soul, you'll recognize that the only true essence that truly gives you peace is being within that being truly within your soul. And as you're there, you recognize that all those falsities fall away, and that's why you will no longer believe, and you will no longer hear those falsities, and you will only hear truth. Does that make sense? Everybody understand that? Okay, so the whole game here is to become one with your soul and to recognize that you're not separate from your soul. The soul is what resides within you. And if you can become familiar with being in the essence, and they're telling me to give you this experience, when you truly become familiar with your soul, you will find yourself diving into it. And what I'm seeing is like diving into a swimming pool. So let's pretend like the swimming pool is your soul. And for all of your life, you've been walking around the edge of the swimming pool. This is a good story. You've been walking around the edge of the swimming pool, and you recognize you have a soul. We all know we have a soul. We have something that connects us to our higher power. That little soul's in there. But we've always walked around it. We've never truly immersed ourselves in it. And so what you're going to have the experience to do is when you find your heart and you recognize that, again, and I keep saying this over and over, this seems to be my mantra lately. Heart, soul, they are married together as one. They are intertwined. They are together. And once you become more familiar with your heart and you recognize how that heart beats and how all of these things have been held within that heart, when you begin to let those things go, you become truly immersed in your soul and what your true intention and true purpose is in being here. And as you become immersed in your soul, just like you're walking around the edge of the swimming pool and then you jump in. As you jump into the pool, you can feel yourself floating and there's water all around and you're weightless and you're just there. And there's nothingness. It's a place of peace. Has anybody ever just floated in water and how peaceful it is? And you're just like, oh gosh, and you let go of everything. Everything is released. This is what it feels like when you immerse yourself within your soul. And as your soul is there and you're immersing yourself truly in the light of God and God's creation, and as you allow yourself to become whole, your soul will begin to spread. It spreads up and it spreads out. It goes up through your head, it goes down through your legs, it goes through your arms, and you become one with your soul. It is no longer just this little bitty light that's placed just in your chest that you're not familiar with. You just know that something's there. It becomes you. And as it becomes you, that's when you become that light being. That's when you become the crystalline being. And then as you progress and as your body starts shifting and changing, then you become a plasma being. And you can go further than that if you choose to, but that's what we're going to stop. That's where we're going to stop. And that's what this is all about. And like I said, it sounds like I'm getting a little bit off of the truth and the false, but this is very relevant.
Yeah.
Do you guys get it? Okay. So what we're asking for you to do is to recognize that there is a soul within your being. Become friends with it. Recognize that you can turn inward and truly immerse yourself in the light of God. That soul is the light of God. It is all that is. It is everything that exists. It is one with all. And as you do this, you'll begin to recognize that you are connected to everything and everyone. All is one and one is all. This is who you will become. And you have been given the gift and the ability to start this transformation at this moment. We have given you information that will help you to move forward in the light of God and this transitional period that is so important to all of us. As you've been told before, you're the warriors that are on the front line to help all humans to shift and change their consciousness into higher beings. You are the forefront. You are the ones that will be leading the others. We are asking you to help us and to help find your truth so that you can no longer or will no longer listen to anything that is not truth. You will no longer listen to the falsities of others. You will know what the truth is within your own being, because you are connected to the highest source and the highest power in existence. And this is who you are, and this is who you will become. And thank you again. We are truly grateful. Thank you. Okay, so I think that that's all for now that I have to do. Do you guys have any questions?
The marriage and for me, part of this transition has been on a more contextual plane, but it certainly has been interior. And what I was remembering when you were speaking about that process was that to become less of the human part of us, the heart beating, the context of our flesh and whatever, we have to surrender it piece by piece or suddenly or whatever, so that the soul can emerge fuller and in a much less beautiful way than that. My sort of reference to that is over the years is that in order to learn to love and keep loving and keep learning to love, that it requires us to surrender or deny ourselves, is one way the old guys put it, but to surrender ourselves so that we can permit that gift to take over. But it requires all love, all service, all compassion and caring requires a surrender, a dying of us, of our, you talk about ego from time to time, but that was a beautiful way that you illustrated that today.
Well, thank you. I wish it was all me.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, and
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you all. Yes.
It's funny you use the term die. And I've said this before, and I've said this in past classes, that I have literally had the experience that I thought I was dying. And I went through this transition about 3 weeks ago again of, I think I need to die. I think I don't care. I could care less if tomorrow ever came. I'm ready. And I've gone through these phases of the different emotions of, this change is coming, and, what's happening, and I feel like I'm dying, and do I need to get prepared to die? Do I need to get my will out? And like these different phases of these different things of feeling like I was dying. And of course, I'm still here. It hasn't actually happened. But what is happening is that parts of me they're leaving, and they're dying off, and they're changing. But instead of me trying to hold on and being fearful of it, I'm like, bring it on. I'm good with it. Do whatever you need to do. And so what the thing is that's important for all of us to understand and kind of determine where you actually want to go as a human being. Where do you want to go as a human being? Do you want to just stay just where you are and have all of the 3D issues? Or do you want to try to transition to the 5th dimension and live in peace and harmony and happiness? So it's a choice that people make because it's scary, it's fearful, because how are we, as the leaders, the first kind of the front line that's going through these changes, what's going to happen if we do this, but 98% of the population are still back in the 3rd D, and how are we going to exist? Well, I don't really care, but other people do. I always want to do, my purpose has always been to be, I have always had that desire to be a person that God had created me to be. And it's taken me 56 years to get this far along. It's not an easy process, but we have to determine who we ultimately want to be. And once you can figure out who you want to be, the process will become easier. But if you're afraid and you want to hold on to what you have, then that's what you'll keep. Definitely, for sure. Yeah, so thank you.
Lisa? For me, it's been the surrender word too, and sometimes, as you were talking earlier, whether you're gonna have a sleepless night or a peaceful night, sometimes it's just saying, okay, I allow and I invite it to come in. And so for me, that is the surrender, that is the letting go, that is the dying. And sometimes it's like it's like a snake is peeling off the skin so that the light body, or whatever the true soul and the light is kind of coming within. But that's word I've heard from Lisa Transcendence Brown and some of the other that I've listened to, is that word surrender.
Yeah, and
It's a
some of the
letting go.
things, and speaking of, I can't tell you how many times, my little routine is that, when I get in bed at night, I try to clear my mind, and I lay in bed and try to just kind of clear everything out and just allow whatever to come in. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen layers just shed off. Basically, like I have seen myself, like my whole body has shed off and I'm just the skeleton. And that has happened numerous times, and it's shedding off all the layers and moving on to the next thing. But it's a process, and so if you guys go through stuff like that, shedding stuff, however it may be, don't be afraid. It's all part of the process. Do you mind, Michelle, if I'm not going to say exactly what you talked about last week, what happened to you, but I'm going to say what happened to me, what has happened to me. I have had stuff, just like this crazy stuff, like spewing out of my ears. Like how, like if you have open a fire hydrant and the water's just spewing out, how they turn them on? That's like, I felt my ears, just like water or something, or whatever it is. What it is all the crap. Everything that I don't need anymore coming out of my ears. I've had it, like I felt like I was going to throw up. One experience I had was that I felt like I was having a baby. To where, I had the cramps and I thought I was going to die. And I saw and felt everything just coming out of me. It's like the crazy stuff has happened, but it's all shedding. If it makes sense to you, if you recognize you're letting everything go, everything is just releasing and coming out of you whatever way it can. And so if you do see your skin shedding, or stuff coming out of your ears or your eyes or your mouth or whatever it may be, or anywhere else, don't be surprised. It's shedding all of the stuff that you no longer need, and be grateful and thankful for it. And everything is, gradually shifting and changing. And here we are now with crystals in our ears. So I know you guys have had some experiences yourself. So is there anything that anybody else wants to ask a question about? Okay, so did we grasp the whole concept of truth and false after all of this?
Okay, well, we'll see if we can ground you with the horror line here in just a minute, because we're going to be covering several different techniques that we've covered over the last I've covered over the years. Over the last 5 weeks. This is our last class for this one. Maintaining peace and happiness is what Lisa and I have been teaching over the last 5 sessions. We've been every other week, except for this one was 2 weeks in a row. So we're going to start with some of the techniques that we've covered. The horror line we have not covered in this group, but I covered it in the meditation class with some of you. So you're familiar with it, but we're going to be using the Hara, the Merkaba, the heart connection, and then I'm going to add the Metatron's cube, which is what we're working on tonight, and you're going to love it. It's really amazing. And one of the things that Metatron's cube does is eliminate negative thought systems and allows positive ones to come in. So it's pretty powerful. It's amazing. So We're going to start with the Hara line. How many of you are familiar with the Hara line?
Mhm.
Yay, good. Some of you aren't. Some of you aren't. That's okay. This is a Barbara Brennan picture from her book, but you also know, maybe familiar with it from martial arts. Because it's been around, and it's on a different dimension than the chakras and some of the other systems that we do, but it's a very peaceful place. It's a place where usually there's no emotion if you can really get centered in Hara, and it really grounds and connects you. So we're going to start with the Tantien, which is right here in your belly. It's about 2 inches below your belly button, and so just put your hands there maybe. You don't have to stand up, but you can if you want to. Just imagine or feel a red, orange ball there. This is called the Tantien. It is the one note that holds you into earth. Holds you and your beingness, your soul, into this light, into this place. So just see if you can feel that for a minute. When you see martial arts guys and women move, they move from this place. This is their Hara line. And so they move from this. It's very powerful. They bring the energy up through their body and like chop wood into pieces and all kinds of things. So this is where their power, this is your power center. This is where you can hold and get in touch with your power place. So feel that red-orange ball. And then as you begin to get in touch with that, then imagine a line that goes down through your perineum, throughout your tail, all the way down to the core of the earth. And when you get to the core of the earth, then you don't have to imagine it as a molten ball. You can imagine lakes or rivers or mountains or your bedroom or anything that feels comforting. Because if you're like me and some other people that like to go out of their body, first getting in touch with Mother Earth was very difficult for me because I didn't really want to be here on Earth. So sometimes just feeling that connection to the core of the earth and seeing something that feels comforting for you can help you connect to the core of the earth. Connecting to Mother Earth. You can also feel your feet connected, but basically we're connecting the main Hara line, which is all the way down to the core. And then feeling that energy, and as I've said before, you can imagine that line like a pencil length. You can imagine it as big as your fist. You can imagine it as big as your body. Just kind of get in touch with maybe where it might be out of line and kind of see if you can work on straightening it up. So bringing the line all the way back to your Tantien again. Connecting from the Tantien just in your imagination still to the core of the earth. Know that you have all of that connection there. And then from the Tantien, you're going to draw a line inside your body all the way up to what we call a high heart or the soul seat, right at the upper part of your chest where your lungs are, kind of. And there, instead of a red molten ball, is a star. This is your soul seat. This is where you hold your longings, your divine task. This is what you came here to do here on earth. So connecting with that and connecting the Tantien and the line between your high heart, your soul seat, and your Tantien. Then feeling the line from the soul seat, high heart, all the way up through the top of the head to what we call the ID point, which connects you to the divine above. You can put your hand above your head and put your hand flat. That's your ID point. Feeling that line all the way down, all the way up to the ID point above your head. you are this divine piece in between Mother Earth and Father Sky. That's how some describe it, the earth and the heavens. And bringing that energy down from the heavens back down to the head, putting your hand on your high heart and your Tantien, and seeing if you can feel that whole line of connection. Just see what that feels like. This is also where you can feel amazing power of intention. There is something in your life that you're intending for or manifesting. Maybe it's to be more in that crystalline body. Maybe it's just to be whatever it might be, or something in your life that you're trying to manifest. You can hold the Hara line, and the Hara line helps you hold that intention. Just brings it more into beingness. From that place, see if you can maintain that place. If you're not familiar with the Merkaba, or the Merkaba, which we've added. So from this Hara line, we're going to add to this whole dimension the Merkaba. If you need to see what that looks like, this one right here gives you an example of the Merkaba. All of these are Merkabas. It gives you an idea of standing inside or sitting inside the Merkaba. And then if you want to add the Hara line, which is almost like that one over there. So from this Hara line place, also add the Merkaba dimension out from you. And if you can't visualize it, don't worry about it. Just intend that it's there. And feel the Hara line and the Merkaba at the same time if you can. And the Merkaba may be spinning. If it does that, that's what it's supposed to do. If it doesn't, then that's okay too. Just see what feels right for you right now. And then we're going to add to this your heart connection. We talked about the heart coherence. So just still intending your Inhara and your Merkaba is there. And now connect with your heart. Feel that heart connection. Breathing in and out through the heart. This heart coherence. Imagine as you breathe in, the energy is coming into the heart. As you breathe out, it's either coming out again into your heart, in and out through the heart. You're breathing in and out through the heart as you're sitting in Hara and the Merkaba. Feeling the torus around the heart, which is a part of that heart connection. Like the donut that circulates around the heart and the body. Then bringing in some kind of emotion into the heart. So this may take you out of the heart a little bit because the heart line doesn't really have any emotion. But we're tapping in now to the heart connection and that feeling of appreciation or gratitude, or bringing in any kind of image that makes your heart smile and feel that love and appreciation in the heart. And when you're ready from this place, you can kind of begin to open your eyes and presence yourself in this state, in this heart coherent state. Because as I've said, when you're in heart coherence, you're not always necessarily in a meditative state. And you're living from this heart, as Lisa says, more in this plasma and crystalline body. We're going to be light beings that are walking around, living in this place constantly. So sometimes when you get to this place, it's good to kind of open the eyes and see the world around you and presence yourself in this place at this time. Questions or comments on any of that? That's a lot. We did the Merkaba, the Haro line, the heart coherence with the Taurus connection there.
I got,
Okay.
and the Merkaba, is that like at the top of the head and the bottom of your feet, or how does that run?
We're going to learn a little bit. Here's where's my Merkaba up here? It's like two, you can kind of see it over here in the two green ones.
Yeah.
It's two, he's going to describe it when we get to the, it's two pyramids, but they're equally sided pyramids, and they're three-sided. It's equally sided pyramids, and you can see like the bottom of one, goes up, and then the point one comes down. So it's like two pyramids come together, and that's the Merkaba. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but if you're imagining running it,
Oh,
is it in your head or is it in your whole body?
you can imagine it anywhere you want.
Oh,
You can imagine, for me, sometimes I work with it just on maybe a particular part of the body that's hurting. In the meditation, we were just imagining it, sitting inside it, kind of like this one, that you're sitting inside it, and it's above and below.
Gotcha.
You can imagine it however. And then here, you can imagine sometimes they'll spin like this way, where one's spinning this way and the bottom one's spinning this way. Or it can spin this way, one spinning one way, so it's just helping clear and heal.
Okay.
It's just a matter of what feels right for you at the time. There's no particular, in my opinion, it's what works for you. But it's just a clearing, it's a meditative state. It kind of connects you with a higher dimension. Light beings use it to travel. If you do astral travel, it can be a protection, those kinds of things. So, good question. Anybody else have a question in particular? Okay, how was that? Any comment?
That's a lot.
It was a lot. Yes, because this is a culmination of the 5 weeks, and we've added each one each week. So for you people that are this is your first time here, it's like, whoa, what did we just do? So, yeah, it was a lot. And we're gonna add one to it, so get ready. Okay.
I found the moving to the heart thing distorted the rest
Yes, it can.
very much.
It can. It's almost like I have to move that out.
That's sort of what I did, I think.
Yeah, it's still there because it's there in, no matter what. It's just your consciousness is not on it. But yeah, it's like it, because the heart, yeah, it's a whole different, they're all like different dimensions. And so like when you move into the heart, it's a different dimension and then the others. Yeah, and that's okay. It's hard to kind of focus on all of them. Yeah. Good awareness. Yeah. Anybody else have a comment on how easy or hard it was? And for some people that don't visualize, if you can't visualize it, just intend it. That's what we're going to be doing with the Metatron's cube here in just a minute. So, any other questions? Okay, I think everybody got a sheet. If not, holler about the information about. How many of you are familiar with Metatron's cube? Somebody have one of these papers?
I almost got a tattoo.
Yay! Of Metatron's cube?
Yeah.
That's a lot of lines.
It's a lot of lines. Yeah.
You almost
It's
did.
going to happen.
Okay.
I think it's going to
Wow.
happen. Yeah. I talked to Lisa yesterday about it. My appointment was supposed to be for this Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen this Saturday. But it will. I'm
It's
getting
gonna
really hot now.
Yeah, there you go. So where are you going to have it put? Can we ask?
It was going to be in the back, like towards the heart area.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to love what we're going to do here in a minute.
Okay. Awesome. Oh my God, I'm like sweating now.
She's getting the 140.
Yes. Pass it around. Don't keep it
Your
long.
turn, your turn. Okay. Since I don't like to read, I'm going to ask for volunteers. Anybody want to read the first paragraph for me? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the Metatron's cube and how it's developed and what it is. Oh, yay, Zara.
Metatron's cube contains every shape that exists in the universe God has created, and those shapes are the building blocks of all physical matter. They are known as Platonic solids because the philosopher Plato linked them to the spirit world of heaven and the physical elements on earth. Those 3D-dimensional shapes appear throughout creation, in all, everything from crystals to human DNA.
Cool. We're going to jump the next whole paragraph, and we're going to read part of that, and then we're going to be watching a video in just a second. It allows anything that needs to be cleared from our energy to be cleared. It also allows any healing that needs to occur to happen. It supports the integration process when we do any form of energy healing in general. You can call in Archangel Metatron when you notice that you have old limiting beliefs, which is kind of what we've been working on through this whole series. When you have old limiting beliefs that are on repeat and that are keeping you stuck. It is so important to do the work behind releasing these limiting beliefs because they do not serve you or your purpose and what you want to create in your life. That's what Archangel Metatron is here to help you with. If you also notice that you're repeating the same patterns of behaviors, or if you feel there's any negative energy around you, you can call on him to help release that. And he kind of carries the cube with him, obviously. You can also call on Archangel Metatron if you want to know more about sacred geometry and working with that energy, which is, of course, he does. I'm going to jump to the very bottom. It can replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Read to find out more about Metatron's meaning. These are the dots down at the bottom. Metatron's cube is a mystical, three-dimensional cube used by the Archangel Metatron to watch over the flow of energy connecting Earth and the divine. So it's kind of like the cube even that we saw, you know, it's kind of pointed up here and it's bringing down from the vine, just kind of like the Hara line, and this is bringing up. It contains all 5 platonic solids hidden inside, symbolizing the underlying patterns of our universe. It spins with energy to help you replace negative thoughts and positive ones. It reminds us that the universe wants us to discover our personal power and use it to do good. Okay, now that we read all this, I'm going to show a video that will tell you everything we just read. Hopefully. Yeah, come on. Oh, let me turn you on.
I would cover my personal favorite subject in sacred geometry, which is Metatron's cube. Let's get this started. Now, if you're new to sacred geometry and you think this shape looks a little bit too complicated for you, don't worry, because it is. It's not a starter shape. There's a couple of other things that are a little bit easier to understand, but the good thing about sacred geometry is that you can start anywhere and either move forward or backwards with it, and they're still understandable to a major extent. It's not too hard to grasp. There are a few main ones in the world, and Metatron's cube is one of them. And the cool thing about starting with Metatron's cube to me is that it gives you a better, definitive, and necessary understanding of not only the flower of life, but also of the fruit of life, which is hidden within Metatron's cube, and you can see it really easily, and I'm going to explain just how that all works in a second. See, Metatron's cube is a mixture of the feminine being the circles and the masculine being the straight lines all across it. So now I'm going to get into how to make Metatron's cube for you guys. It's pretty simple, just follow me. So with Metatron's cube, basically all we do is start with the 13 sacred circles of the fruit of life. And from the point of every single circle, you draw a straight line to every other circle. And when you do that, you get this incredible shape right here. So in essence, Metatron's cube is just the fruit of life with straight lines drawn from the interior of every circle to every other circle in the diagram. When all is said and done, I'm pretty sure it comes out to like 78 lines or so, so it's a pretty intricate, detailed drawing. And the reason Metatron's cube is so important, so significant, not only in geometry, but in sacred geometry as well, is that when you create this shape, amazingly, you get all 5 of the platonic solids hidden inside of it. And if you guys don't know what the platonic solids are, they are the tetrahedron, the hexahedron, the dodecahedron, the octahedron, and the isosahedron. Those are the 5 platonic solids known throughout nature. They are inside of Metatron's cube. Now, these platonic solids are known as the building blocks of matter. They occur and form all organic life and reality as we know it. It's a beautiful synchronicity of not only geometric principles, but the nature of the world around us. And they don't just occur in physical things, you know, they occur in music and languages and art, minerals. So if you're really into crystals and stuff like that, there's a reason a lot of them are shaped like the platonic solids. You'll notice that if you research them. And just the fact that they are, by definition, the building blocks of matter. Again, referring to Plato, he conjured up this idea thousands of years ago. That's why they're called the platonic solids. Ever since then, you know, for thousands and thousands of years, they've been finding these in nature and finding them in more and more important segments and pieces of the world. And they're just coming together really beautifully, and it's an awesome, awesome thing. And because of this, in essence, Metatron's cube houses significant sacred geometric and regular geometric principles that apply in science across the world and throughout the universe. And it's the main reason why it's such a renowned and revered sacred geometric symbol. The reason there are only 5 platonic solids and the reason they're so unique is because platonic solids have a characteristic definition. They all have equal face sizes, they all have equal interior angles, and they all have equal edge lengths as well. Also, when placed inside of a circle, all of the points of the edges of the platonic solids will match up with the circle perfectly. Again, only 5 shapes fit these 4 characteristics for defining a platonic solid, and those 5 shapes are found distinctly within Metatron's cube. It's a beautiful turn of, I don't know if you call it coincidence or nature just kind of giving us a hint into the creations and origins of the universe itself. Another really interesting part about Metatron's cube that's kind of hard to find online other places is its transcendental properties. See, this kind of conceptualization creates our reality. It shapes the way we see and view and understand things around us. See, before we create something, we have to visualize it in our mind. We have to conceive of it. And through those conceptions and visualizations come the creation or the manifested reality that we put in front of us to use to our benefit or to our disdain, unfortunately. And the Platonic solids and Metatron's cube are a great example of using that and utilizing that in science and geometry and a lot of other fields. And it's a beautiful shape, and that's why I picked this one to go first, and it's why it's my favorite. And Metatron's cube is a great thing to use when you need to just stop and look around and realize how beautifully scientific and synchronized the world is, how fascinating the formation of everything around you is, and what it all means to be here now, to be part of it. It's a great thing to meditate on, meditating on the cube. It'll help you come to a easier understanding of your oneness with the universe, of your place as part of it and not just something within it, but as a connected factor to all the things around you. So for the main part, that's Metatron's cube. That is the basis behind it, what it is, what it looks like, why it looks that way, why it is important, how you can use it to understand more things around you, and how the scientific community uses it to understand things. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be doing more sacred geometric topics as time goes on, I promise. So just like, subscribe, and leave a comment and tell me what other sacred geometric shapes or things you'd like to learn about.
Okay, that's enough of him. Any questions then on sacred geometry? You all understand it perfectly now, right?
Oh, yes.
It's huge.
It's huge, exactly. And so I'm going to give you one, and we are going to meditate with this, with it. There is, of course, lots on the internet about the cube, about all of these that we've worked with this evening. So if you get confused. Now is everybody hot?
No?
Okay, good. Oh my God, hot up here. Any questions before we begin the meditation? Okay. What I'm going to have you do is put your feet on the floor, and what you're going to be doing is putting this under your seat.
Under a seat or feet?
Under your seat. Because basically what you're going to be imagining and holding the intention, because it may be difficult to imagine all of the pieces of it. Obviously there's a lot there. And when you, even with all of those lines, they create this, obviously, all those decahedrons and those big words he used to describe the cubes and the different things, all are going to be formed around you along with the pillars and the cylinders. And then as they come up, then we're going to, obviously Metatron is already here. He and his helpers are going to be helping us clear, as we just read earlier, any of those old negative belief systems. We'll be clearing and then adding any positive ones as needed. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be toning and playing the bowl also. So any questions before we start? So get in a comfortable position, wherever that might be. Imagine or hold that Metatron's cube underneath you. It's already actually placed in the room before you came in, so it's already here at some level. Just take a deep breath in and out. Again, maybe just connecting to what we connected to earlier with that, either the Hara line or the Merkaba, feeling centered and grounded and connected to the earth, to the sky, presencing yourself here in this body at this time. no longer serves you. And allowing and intending the cube that is underneath you to rise up and surround you in any way that feels right for you. Just intend. You don't have to see it or feel it. Just intend and it will happen. And as it rises up above your head, then if any parts of it wants to spin, sometimes the pillars will spin around you in different directions. Just allowing and intending to release any negative belief systems that are keeping you stuck in who you are, keeping you from moving forward. Just intending and allow to release any negative beliefs. sitting in silence and allowing that to integrate into the body. Thanking Metatron and his helpers, masters, teachers, guides, for all of their help. Gratitude and appreciation. You can begin to open your eyes. Presence yourself back in the room. See you later. Thank you. They're cleaning physical trash out. We're cleaning energetic. All good. Like to share anything or have questions?
Oh, when it started, I just felt the whole thing come up, and I was right in the middle.
Okay, great.
So it was really cool.
Good. So you can take these with you. Use them for whatever. Nice. Anybody else?
Lots of tingling in my head. Lots. And then, I don't know if there were wings or not, but it was like, I don't know.
It's okay.
Oh.
Like JP said earlier, we're all going to feel and experience it differently. There's no right or wrong way. Some people are more visual. Some people are more kinesthetic. Some people hear more, see more, feel more. Everybody's different. So that's why I like to hear people's experiences, because everybody's going to experience it differently. Just know that you're receiving exactly what you need. Yeah, because the guides and Metatron and the sacred geometry, which is all around us in our DNA, part of us. It's all activating for us. Nice. Just acknowledging it and honoring it. Any other questions or thoughts?
Anybody need a drink?
Plenty of water is going to be very, very important over the next couple of days for sure. I wanted to mention before you go, anything else, Lisa, before we close, and then I'm going to tell them about the next class coming up.
This is our last class for this series.
Okay.
And thank you guys for participating. It's been fun for Joyce and I. I think this is something that's a little bit different than anybody else does. And So it's been a little bit of an adventure. Thank you for my spontaneity, putting up with me, not ever knowing what's going to happen. We do appreciate you supporting us and being here for us.
Yes, definitely.